5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome everyone to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Julia. Yay indeed.
It's so good to have you back.
It's good to be back. Back.
Yes.
This is a podcast where my co-host and I listen to and watch all of the Cincinnati-based craft beer media from the previous week. We get together to podcast host, and today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. Thank you, Higher Gravity, for being a gracious podcast host. Now, my name is Marco. I was a brewer here in the Cincinnati area for several years and taproom manager currently. And that voice you heard, I already said her name, but it belongs to the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
I'm Julia. I drink all the beer in the Cincinnati area, and I enjoy poking fun at Michiganites.
I want to say to the gnarly gnome that he doesn't know what he's talking about, that Podcastlandia is a place.
I told him. You know, he was like, there are this many islands. I'm like, no, you missed one, and that's where we reside.
Well, what do you have to say about that, gnome?
Nothing, he's not here.
Yeah. He's got. I know he had some work to do today, and today
Excuses.
Yeah, and today is Kolsch night. So typically, what happens is he'll just meet us there because a lot of his work dealings take him
closer to there
than here. Yeah. Although today, I mean, depending on what was going on, he, maybe could have picked me up or something. I don't know. Whatever.
It's fine.
Oh, it's fine.
Good.
Absolutely.
It's fine.
Happy tax day, everyone.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
For reals.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts so bad. I'm still feeling it.
The day's not over, so maybe tomorrow you'll feel better.
I feel like that meme with that kung fu guy where he's like in a stance and he's just getting kicked in the nuts over and over and over again. But yeah, thoughts and opinions on the podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with, such as full-time jobs, part-time jobs, third jobs, or any sort of charitable work that we may be doing for anybody, or Higher Gravity.
Yes.
If you have anything to say to us, just keep it to yourself. Or what you can do is find us, at us, and get at us. You can read the show notes and figure out how to reach us. We're open to any positive comments that are out there.
Yeah. Only positive comments. If you don't have anything positive to say, keep it to yourself.
That's what my
We're
mom
very sensitive.
used to say. If you don't have anything good to say, shut the fuck up.
How much farther would we be as a society if people actually adhered to that? Speaking of what you drinking?
New to the board, I got a Rothaus Pils.
Excellent. Because this wouldn't be a good craft beer podcast if we weren't drinking some sort of craft beverage.
That's right. It'd be like those fake-ass podcasts.
Exactly. And I'm drinking something else that's very new to the board, Awaken the Schwarzbier from Darkness Brewing.
Yeah, I saw that up there.
It's quite good.
And I was like, oh, it's a Schwarzbier. How about that?
Yes, your favorite.
Yeah, some say.
I say.
Some have said.
Some have said such things. Well, because it is Kolsch night, we are going to have a little bit of a rush show to make sure that we can get from here down to there in a reasonable amount of time and try to avoid as much rush hour traffic as possible while still having plenty of time to drink all the delicious Kolsch.
Yeah, and although you have been to every Kolsch night, and I have been to most.
No, I have missed one. We all missed one. I think it was like January or something like that.
Okay, so all of us missed one.
Or last January, whatever.
But today's Kolsch night, the Gnarly Gnome actually put out an invitation.
He did.
For Cincinnati craft beer lovers to show up to Kolsch night. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any response, any participation.
Yeah. Which is also, hearing that invite is also why you need to follow and listen to everything the Gnarly Gnome does, especially things like Weekly Pint, his blog posts, and sign up for his newsletter. And you can get emailed about such things.
Yep.
Or the free tier on Patreon that he has.
That's true. I mean, that's a good way to get started, is a free Patreon tier.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead before we get too long-winded, before we even get to any shows. Let's make sure that we all listen to the same things over the past week-ish.
Okay. All right.
We have, it appears to be the end of the Cincinnati run of the All About Beer Brewer to Brewer series.
Yes, it is the end.
I'm sure it'll come back.
I was going to say until it comes back around again.
Yeah. So it's just the end for now.
Yeah.
We have an episode of Barstool Perspective.
Yep.
We have a Blake's Craft Beer podcast.
Uh-huh.
And the Weekly Pint.
TWP.
You know Gnome.
Yep.
Absolutely. Do you want to just start from the start and work our way to the finish?
I think that's the best way to do it. Start from the start and then work to the finish.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm glad that we're in agreement of that.
Yeah.
All about beer, brewer to brewer, Brady Duncan, and Joe Short. So
Yes.
Episode 71.
Yes.
Yes.
I did not know when I turned on the podcast I was going to get to hear about or hear the term Braxton Hicks and the contractions.
Yes.
That was fun.
That was incredible. And also, this has to have been one of the most extensive and thorough intros that I've ever heard on a Brewer to Brewer episode. Brady made comparisons between Joe and Evel Knievel. It was astounding.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Unlike if we were to have a band, we would probably be called like the Kegels, or be compared to like Super Dave.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Let's see. They talked about how the physical nature of building an ice block bar for Winterfest is much higher than one would anticipate.
See, I'd never wondered that.
No?
But you never know what you're getting.
It's like you hear, let's build an ice block bar. Oh, that'll be easy. We can just cut some ice, throw it up. It'll be great. And then like 2 blocks in, you're going, my quads.
None of that sounded like anything I would ever do. So just the thought of it is too much work.
If your place of I always said your place of establishment, which would not be correct verbiage at all. But if your establishment decided they're going to do an ice block bar, you would chip in to help build it, wouldn't you? Or would you
I see
delegate?
What you did there.
Or would
chip
you delegate? Hey, yeah. Look at that. I'm punny and I didn't even know it.
I would really try to find a way to not be involved.
To not do it. Hey,
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Look, man, I mean, just when the winter comes around and you step outside and you try and, do a couple of things and then your nose starts running and it doesn't stop running till like May.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not signing up for that.
All right, that's fair. They talked about how their roles for both of them have shifted from running their business to nurturing the business.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
That really sounds like a trajectory that probably a lot of not just brewers or proprietors, but small business owners probably in general end up starting that way and then transitioning into a role of that sort. At least you hope with a business that would have longevity and success that would be the way that would go.
Right. Ownership is able to trust the people that they're hiring to handle the jobs that they used to have to do day in and day out.
Right.
So they end up having less of those immediate daily needs that they have to do, and they can focus on ensuring everything is working the way that they want it to work.
Right.
Yes.
Leading from the front.
Absolutely. Perfectly said. They also talked about how being part of a shifting market where drinking isn't as pronounced as it once was has also shaped the fact that they feel, well, not really they feel, they are running hospitality businesses and not just a brewery. It's not single faceted anymore.
Yeah, that's a thread through some of these that is the case. And
for a couple weeks now, that's been kind of a commonality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have here? No good thing can happen when Joe has a tape measure in his hands. There were some pretty interesting stories that kind of befell that train of thought. So if you ever are at Schwarz Brewing and you see a guy walking around with a tape measure, know that it's going to end poorly.
Yeah, keep your head down. Don't make eye contact.
No, because he might try to volunteer you to help out, even though you have nothing. Exactly. I hate being voluntold for stuff.
Oh, man.
Ugh. I like the conversation, or the question, rather, that Brady asked Joe. What would your kids say?
Oh, yeah.
If you asked them, what do you think about Schwarz?
Yeah.
And likewise, what would your employees say? Like, how would they describe Schwarz Brewing, and how would they reflect upon it? Which is a really interesting thing. I wonder how many bosses, how many business owners would even ask that question of their employees, their friends, their family, people that are very close both to them and to the business. If someone asked you, what do you think of business X, what kind of response do you think they would get, and what kind of response would you hope that they would give?
So I like just flat out the fact that he, one proprietor or another just came out and asked that.
Yeah.
What I don't love is when in one of my former jobs where we had to sit down for 20 minutes and we had to take this survey from a third party that asked you, all these different questions about, do you feel supported about the anonymous
surveys that aren't really anonymous.
Yeah. It's like
everyone has an individual link. Well, right there, it's not freaking anonymous.
Yeah. So, I feel like that's way better than, hiding behind the illusion of anonymity.
Yeah. I had two other notes on this episode before we wrap up our talk about All About Beer, Brewer to Brewer with Brady, Duncan, and Joe Short. Keep an eye out for the Hicks family reunion. And if you see them gathering, take cover.
Yes.
And Brady released an album.
That's one of the takeaways I had. It was like, who knew? Raise your hand if you knew that Brady released an album.
I think I found it.
Okay.
If I can confirm, I will put a link in the show notes.
We listened to it in the car?
Maybe.
Okay.
If I remember where I found it. Because I saw it, I'm like, I have a feeling this is it. And then I didn't bookmark it because, I'm not that smart. So I will. I think I can find it again. We'll see.
Right.
We will see.
Check that out.
Did you have any other notes on this episode of All About Beer, Brewer to Brewer?
I have no idea who this band is that he was talking about.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine.
All right, what do you say we move on to Barstool Perspective?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, this episode was on April the 11th of 2025. You participated in the live chat.
I was there.
It was awesome.
Actually,
the best of the best were in the chat that day. And if you guys want to participate in the live chat during Barstool Perspectives every Friday at about 1:30 on YouTube. So join, watch. Pretend to drink during your workday with us unless you actually can drink during your workday, or it's not a workday for you.
Correct.
Otherwise, I'm just sipping on my water and acting like I'm sipping on a beer while I wait to leave my job. It's the best 30 minutes of not work that I do every week. Yes.
Yeah.
This episode opened with a bombshell. Michael D. Morgan might be your father. And maybe not your father, but your father.
Yeah. Right.
Or your father over there. Or even your father sitting, you over there. Yours.
Could be their father.
Absolutely. If you have ever wondered,
if your mother
questioned your
was ever in the Canadian Ballet,
you might want to get a paternity test.
23andMe.
Oh my God! Well, maybe not them yet.
No, not
we don't know who's buying them. We don't know who's going to have all that information.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So maybe not them for this particular one.
Yeah.
Jewel, the singer Jewel, is suing Kroger because they are greedy bastards. In kind of what else is new news? Yeah.
I didn't have having to talk about Jewel on this podcast on my bingo card for 2025.
No, absolutely not. Maybe 2026, but definitely not 2025.
It was not 2025.
No, it's
2023. She was on it.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 13. No, I don't know.
I don't remember.
I have no idea. But she was on one of our episodes.
Yep.
Well, she wasn't on. We talked about her on one of our episodes.
Right.
I got to clarify because otherwise someone's going to say,
"Oh, which one was Jewel on?" No, she wasn't on.
Apparently, dining and dashing is the newest TikTok trend.
That's so
and it's
stupid.
Like, come the fuck on, people. Right now, businesses need your dollars and your patronage more than ever. Don't fucking do this stuff.
So dumb.
Just don't do it.
It's so dumb.
It's
TikTok
dumb.
isn't dumb enough already.
The newest study says that mixing weed with drinking may or may not affect how much you do or do not drink.
I might or might not believe it.
I might or might not as well. I listened to that and I said, that's really interesting, or maybe it's not. It was one of those studies where you go, how much money did you put into this to say absolutely nothing?
Yeah. Well, you can't know unless you do the study.
That's true. It's kind of like Schrodinger's cat. It exists and it doesn't exist all at the same time. until you read the study, and even then it still either exists or doesn't exist because they didn't say anything in the study.
Right.
There was nothing useful in that whatsoever. In decent news,
Okay.
kind of, in the Truth Beer Pod Financial Corner,
Yes.
disclaimer, we are not financial people in any way, shape, or form. Brett and
should
Mike
know
are
that.
not financial. Exactly. You've listened to us. You know not to listen to us for any serious life advice on
No.
any subject.
No.
Tilray updates.
Yeah.
Buy it now while it's low.
Yeah. Oh, we
'Cause
get to talk about
Jesus
them again later, too.
Christ, it keeps going lower and lower. It's
Oh, man. Diamond hands.
so all I'm gonna say, I still have faith that my 401k funds are really gonna pay off in that 10 or 20 or 50-year plan that is investing in Tilray. Because Brett and Mike still think that there's a chance. And you know that they're not optimistic about anything. So if they think there's a chance on Tilray, you know what? I'm gonna keep buying 2 60-cent stocks every other paycheck when I can afford it.
There's a chance that we could spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
So,
So drink
there's
heavily.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated. You'll burn slower, I think.
Slow
is that
burn
how that
rate?
works? Is that how that works?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There should be a study on that. Doge.
Yeah.
They are cutting alcohol research groups, which means if there's no research on alcohol's got to be healthy, right? There's nothing to disprove it anymore.
I think that's the reason to go ahead and to dissolve the studies is because we already know it's healthy.
Or not healthy.
Well, we already know it's a neutral,
Or very polarizing.
Could be.
It could be. It could be any of these. Without these research groups, you can make your own decisions. And, listen to the advice of your doctor.
Oh,
Always.
what do they know?
Stuff. They know big words and how to scribble.
Yeah.
Know how to scribble very well.
Yeah.
They had another absolutely phenomenal rant this episode, all about vanilla.
Yeah.
And how it is the best flavor. It's not a plain flavor. It is the best flavor. And that little tangent was absolutely spectacular. I loved it. So if nothing else, watch this episode just to get to the vanilla rant.
So we had a foreign exchange student in high school from Germany, and you knew she was around whenever you smelled this huge vanilla smell because her perfume was vanilla. And I was like, man, this is so much vanilla. Holy shit.
All the vanilla.
She was a nice person.
Yeah,
But
just a lot of vanilla.
A lot of vanilla.
All right.
Yeah.
After today, Barstool Perspectives is guaranteeing no more tariff talk because
I don't believe you.
No. There's going to be something.
Yeah.
I mean, every day there's
They're
something.
just, instead of tariff, they're going to call it a tariff.
Oh, yes. They're gonna make it fancy.
Yeah.
Modelo is looking at $1 billion in the cost of cans alone if all of the billions of tariffs are applied as currently or as of Friday or predicted, planned, proposed. I don't even know. But that is a stupid amount of money just for cans. But that shows you how big the market is and how much money goes into these individual parts of the beer industry and how your local breweries can be severely impacted by this depending on what happens.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and
if the prices go up, do not blame your
it's
local breweries.
That's just cans too. I mean, it's gonna affect the bottles as well.
Bottles,
the kegs. I mean,
ingredients. It's gonna affect everything. Yeah.
Everything.
Diageo, they traded Diddy for LeBron. Was that a good move?
Oh God. For who?
I
don't know.
Isn't LeBron also going to be a Ken doll?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. You know what? Good for him.
Well,
Why not?
I mean,
sure. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Fine.
Sure. Yeah.
Fine.
Doesn't bother me one way or another.
Doesn't harm anybody.
No, definitely not. They may not be live next week because producer Dan is going to Dollywood. They said that there will probably still be something posted next Friday.
Yeah, it just won't be
but
live.
It will not be live. So, you know what? It could still be a lot of fun. And I'll probably still put a bunch of comments in the comment field just to feel like I was there live.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can do that on your own time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be at 1:30 on a Friday.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly. Did you have anything else on this episode of Barstool Perspective before the sip count?
No, I'm not going to slow the train down. We're
All
just going
right.
to keep going.
Mike took 15 sips. Brett took 25. That is 40 total sips
Okay.
in 40 minutes in a 40-minute
Oh, wow.
episode. That's 80 ounces or 5 pints in 40 minutes.
Ooh, wow.
That's doing some
it.
work.
That's
That is
doing
doing
some
a
work.
lot of work. Good job, guys.
Good
That's all
job.
I'm going to say. We'll see how your not live sip count goes next week. All right, let's move on to podcast 3 of 4,
All right.
Blake's Craft Beer Podcast.
Blake.
Episode 59, Municipal Brew Works.
He said he was. Did you see that in the chat that he's going to record 3 episodes today in Columbus?
I did not see that. I haven't had a chance to look at my phone much at all today.
Yeah.
So no, I miss that, but good Lord, good on
Yeah.
him. And hopefully either his mom or his dad are with him to make sure he gets home safely from all that.
Yeah, it's a lot of podcasting.
That is. That's
you could be
awesome.
tired and loopy.
That is awesome. A best of luck to him with that endeavor.
Certainly, Municipal Brew Works.
Yes, with Jim Goodman, the brewery explores.
Good man.
He is a good man, quite literally. The Brewery Explorers also talked to Jim back in season 2, episode 6, April 2nd of 2024. So if you want to hear more, you can hear the old Brewery Explorers group talk to him.
That's for the Eclipse episode.
Yes, exactly. They did start by talking about the Path of Totality beer release for the 2024 Total Eclipse, which was amazing. Jim said he was surprised at how fast that beer moved and how much demand there was for it.
Total
To me-
Eclipse of Hamilton.
To me, it wasn't surprising at all because when you have sort of a once-in-a-lifetime event like that and you say, oh, we're doing this special beer, we're releasing a special shirt, any like one-time special thing is going to get a bunch of attention. So they ended up having to brew, I believe it was a second batch as well because
They
they're like,
did.
oh,
Yep.
we kind of ran through everything we had and we didn't realize. But you know what? Good on them for sticking to it and saying, let's make more instead of just one run and we're done. Jim talked about how he got started in beer. It was with everyone's favorite Mr. Beer Kit.
The Mr. Beer Kit.
Yes. Is there anyone who got into beer that did not use a Mr. Beer Kit? That's probably
I didn't use a Mr.
Small-
Beer Kit.
Oh, well, there you
I
go.
mean, I did homebrew.
Yeah, but you didn't use the Mr. Beer
I didn't
Kit.
use Mr. Beer.
Okay, all right. Did you use a Mrs. Beer?
No,
Or
I
a
used
Stouty
a
Mc homebrew face?
Stouty Mc
I don't know.
homebrew face.
I was trying to come up with something, and that was the best I could do. Apologies to everyone. Tone, that was not
Instead
funny.
of-
Stop laughing.
Instead of getting a Mr. Beer kit, I just went and spent like $250 on like a larger homebrew setup
Nice.
that basically used still kits, but not like plastic bottles and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Nice. There were a lot of really cool historical Hamilton facts sprinkled throughout this entire episode.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely loved. I loved getting to hear about both the brewery and the area because they are tied incredibly close together. The brewery is in the Municipal building, and Jim talked about the different former occupants of some of those rooms. Like the jail is where they keep their malt, and the detective office is where the men's bathroom is. Like, fun stuff like that, that when you visit and you go into some of these rooms that you have access to, you're like, oh, okay, this is where the fire pole was, and this is where, this
This
and
is
that.
where they did the body cavity
Exactly.
examination.
Exactly. They didn't really mention where the morgue was, and hopefully, I guess it'd be good cold storage for the kegs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good
yeah.
idea.
It's sealed. It's fine.
Yeah.
Apparently, Municipal was the drawing force in getting 100% of Hamilton's storefronts filled with local businesses, which is pretty freaking spectacular.
All right. I'll go with it.
Big old draw with that. Who doesn't want to be by a brewery? Maybe some churches.
Who
I don't
also
know.
wouldn't have predicted that the largest indoor recreational facility would have construction setbacks?
You mean things don't always go as planned?
Yeah.
That's why you have an ish on the end of everything.
Yeah.
Always an ish. They talked about what makes a good Pilsner. It's got to be dry and crispy.
I like it.
Kind of what it boiled down to. Absolutely simple, all good.
I get behind that.
Yep. They talked about the difference between hop pellets and fresh hops.
Yeah.
And some of the things that Jim is looking forward to as far as styles and trends. He loves the fact that black IPAs and Schwarzbiers are making a resurgence. And as two of your favorite beer styles, Marco, I know you are beyond thrilled as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. It's going to be fantastic.
Great. That's wonderful.
They are in no rush to get into the THC or non-alcoholic space.
We don't need to be in any rush
all.
for Schwarzbiers or black IPAs either.
We can agree to disagree on that one. I'm all for it.
No need to rush into it.
No, you gotta. No, I need them now. All of them. That's what I'm drinking.
Take your time, drink a Pilsner.
Now, I am okay with that. They talked about how they ended up at their second location at Spooky Nook, which is, as you mentioned, the largest sporting complex facility in the Northern Hemisphere, and how it's still not done. It's functional, but it's not done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hamilton is claiming to have the largest Dora in the entire state.
Okay.
And they will fight you if you try to disagree.
I'm not going to fight them. I'm just
I
going to
will.
be like, you know what?
I mean, I have no reason to, but you know.
Go ahead. If that's
Okay.
that's what you want to claim, that's fine.
And last note that I had on the episode, it's not just about the beers, but the quality of people running the breweries that keep the beer community in Southwest Ohio hyped up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get an argument from me on that.
No, not at all.
I mean, unless you want one.
No,
unless you're
I'm good.
telling me and voluntelling me.
I'm voluntelling you that we're gonna fight.
Okay.
We're gonna agree to disagree, and then the fisticuffs will come out.
Okay.
And yeah, winner takes all. I don't know. Winner gets to sit shotgun on the drive down to Northern Row.
Winner gets to take the next Blue Origin flight.
Nah. Last show that we have to talk about, we are making very, very good time. So, two non-Patreon
What about the
people-
content, though? Time is good. What about the content?
It's iffy.
Okay.
It's decent.
All right.
We're trying. We're reporting upon the content.
Yeah.
People are getting what we promised them.
Should we tell people at the beginning when it's a Kolsch night that we're just going to pencil whip it?
I think we always do. Like,
Okay.
hey, it's Kolsch night, so we're going to
Kolsch
kind of rush all this
What we're
stuff
going
so
to
that
do
we
is
can
we're
get
going
down
to
there.
just pencil whip it.
We're just going to tell you, you know what we should start doing for Kolsch nights? These are the shows we listen to. We thought they were all great. Now go listen to them on your own.
Right.
Peace out. We'll see you next week.
Peace out next week.
Like 5 minutes. That's it. It'll take us longer to get through the disclaimer than the recaps.
I mean, when we do it right, disclaimer takes like 14 minutes.
It does take a bit of time.
Yeah.
We got to cover a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
About who we are.
And then
we
40
are
minutes
not
in, we're like, all right, let's get right into it.
yeah, let's it's fine. It's fine. Last show.
Okay.
Last show. Let's do this. The weekly, I'm going to go ahead and do it because we sell beers fish. Point.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, and Julie's taking a sip of the Schwarzbier.
And now Mark is taking a sip of his Rothaus. Rothausy.
Yeah.
Yes. The
Crispy,
episode,
dry.
like a Pilsner should be. Episode 257, how are you supposed to make sense of anything? My first question was, how was I supposed to make sense out of Gnome having like 15 open drinks in front of him to start the show off?
Well-
He's like, I have one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here, and I have a sample of this over there, and I'm like, you barely take 3 sips the entire episode.
And then he
9
has
times
a
out of 10.
pencil, and he just clanks on the
And he started to
top
play
of
the
each
drum.
one.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? This is actually kind of fun.
Like steel drums, like Jamaican steel drums.
It was actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Maybe he should do that more often. Gives us
What
a
is
little
it?
musical interlude. You know, he's a musician on
Yeah.
the side.
Interlude.
Yes.
Interluding it. And then the other one, too, is he's like, what, you guys want to take a guess what I'm going to drink next in this 43 glass? He's like, how about liquor 43? It's liquor 43.
Nah, that's too easy. It's got to be something like I don't know. Weller 12. Who knows? I don't know. I was trying to think of something else with a number in it, and that was the first thing I could think of.
And the first thing I thought of was, is there a Weller 12?
I don't know. Isn't there?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I mean,
I'm not that into bourbon to know.
So, I will.
I mean,
say,
a 12-year Weller
there-
sounds
yeah,
like a
there- I'm
perfectly logical, conceptual thing.
I'm sure there is Now, is it like available in bottles and stuff like that? That's the real question. But
Oh, you mean
12
it's only available in the tap room?
No, just in general, like at
The tasting room.
at the distillery. Right. I guarantee that there is 12-year Weller somewhere.
Sure.
You know, so
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Liquor 43 was his schnappening.
Schnapp.
And yeah, nowhere near a schnapp. But he made up for that. I kept telling him to pour it into all of his side beers. And he's like, I'm not doing that. That's going to be disgusting. But I did convince him to cuvee it with Urban Artifacts Raspberry Tea Fruit Tart, which was
Yeah.
one of the 37 different beverages that he had in front of him. And he went, actually,
Raspberry tea fruit tart.
it's not bad. So not all of my ideas suck. He should learn to listen to me more.
No, it was your idea to go to Kolsch.
You know what? Right.
See?
I'm telling you, every now
See?
and then, I know what I'm talking about.
See? It was your idea to try Dick's before me.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Yeah. I've been a fan of Dick's for a long time.
Oh,
They're great. Oh,
Yeah.
they're so good.
Me and Dick's go way back.
So good. I did notice at Dick'sPotatoChips.com,
Yeah.
there was no more option for a large box of Dick's and a medium box of Dick's. It's just the 3 flavors, like 8 counts of the flavors.
Really?
So I wonder if there was a logistical thing with trying to make
With the boxes?
custom mixed boxes and stuff. Yeah. But
We're going to have to
you
I'm gonna do
but you
some
do
research into this.
But you do get free shipping on all U.S. orders, and any order over $40, which if you just buy 2 of the flavors or 2 of any of the flavors, that nets you that 15% off of a $40 order. So it's like $2.50 per bag. So get on it. Order yourself some Dick's. Get those Dick's in your hands and enjoy. Back to the episode, which was sponsored by Dick's, so I didn't, completely go off base there. Mystery brewery idea in Hebron. A developer wants to blend a bike trail with pickleball, a brewery, and family fun.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a concept that we know works for places like 50 West. But you're trying to sell people on the idea that all of those things are guaranteed to be there, and trying to draw in these other businesses for this huge mixed use package that they're trying to put together.
It's talking about packages you're putting together. That almost sounds like something AI would write when someone's trying to put out a public statement about a potential, real estate happening.
Yes, very true. A commenter in the chat gave us a sneak peek on next week's episode of Cincy Brewcast. So if you want to know who to expect to see in your podcatcher and maybe even on the YouTubes next week,
Yeah.
watch this episode and find out. If you're not watching it live Mondays at 9:30 p.m.
What are you doing?
on YouTube and Facebook, you're not living.
No.
Even Banter and Babble stopped by.
They did.
It was awesome. That was phenomenal to see them there.
That was fun.
So yeah, if they can stop by, why can't you?
That's
you
what
have
I
no
was
excuse.
thinking.
No excuse whatsoever.
No excuse.
Something that we already kind of talked about in the Barstool Perspective episode: Tilray in disarray.
Oh
The
god.
stock is down over the past 5 years. The stock has dropped like 93%. So pretty much buy.
Oh, well
buy it.
done.
Buy it because it's low.
Yeah.
Surely it'll spike in like a decade or 2. Maybe,
Yeah. What could go
ish.
wrong?
I have hope. I am trying to find the silver lining in that cloud because maybe it will still allow me to retire before I'm dead.
Even during football season, you can start the football game, switch over to the weekly pint, and by the end of the weekly pint, that's when the football game is finally getting good.
This is true. Speaking of football, have you watched any of the UFL games so far this
A
season?
couple of minutes of a couple of games, but
All right,
not.
that
I
works.
haven't been
That's
able
fine.
to sit down and watch,
it. That's
full
fine.
games.
That is perfectly fine.
So a lot of them happen during the day on Saturday.
There's a Friday night game, 1 or 2 games on Saturday, and then 1 or 2 games on Sunday. Yeah. All right. His beer of the night, Beer Lau.
Yeah,
Light lager, which
Beer
he
Lau.
actually thought wasn't too bad. It was kind of mid,
I think,
but it was better than he thought it was going to be.
I think he leans towards the favorable on most beers, and
Oh,
it would
yeah,
have to
yeah.
be like he goes from favorable, like on a scale, like what's bad, terrible, or wouldn't drink again, is like very small,
yeah.
and then the favorable to great is very vast with him.
I would agree with that. There are very few things that he is flat out, this is trash. Because he does try to give things a fair shake. Like, maybe I'm just not feeling this style tonight, and so it's just not hitting the same way.
Yeah.
Misrule has opened a brewery in Oxford, or maybe it's a tap room. They've opened something up in Oxford. And Josh and I were trying to remember. I love their logo. It's a bunny holding an axe.
Yeah.
Someone fairly recently, Josh and I were together. We were somewhere. Maybe we were with like you and Nomers. Someone had a Misrule T-shirt on because we both commented on the logo. Like,
it wasn't me.
Oh yeah, I know. I would have been so disappointed if I would have been like, oh my God, that was Marco. Marco has the shirt. But we were trying to figure out who that was or where we were that we saw it. Couldn't place it.
But
could not place it.
Is he breaking news? Did the brewer from Common leave Common?
I was wondering that too. I don't know. I mean, half of the beers at Misrule are all like Common collabs, so I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea.
He does a great job.
Yeah, his beers are always fantastic.
Yeah.
Walmart is
sucks.
They do what they do, like have a line of beers that are pretty much all macro ripoffs. If you saw a Walmart beer while doing your shopping at Walmart, would you buy it?
I would, but with a caveat, and here's what I'd tell you.
Okay.
Is if you, I, and the gnome have not had it yet.
This is true.
And this is the opportunity where we know we're going to have it.
Fair.
And then after that, I believe after we taste it, it will reinforce the statement that we all would make, which is, I'm never buying that again.
Yes, 100%.
But that's the only reason I would buy it.
Agreed. I'll try anything once, but yeah.
I get the intention behind that statement, and
sure.
I never use it because I'm like, I'm not trying cocaine.
But you know what? You never know.
I'm going to pass on heroin.
You never know. If it's presented in the right opportunity, the right light, you never know.
You never know.
You could. What if you had some
Maybe.
unintentionally, you didn't know? Like, whoops, this
accidental
needle just...
cocaine?
Exactly,
oh, my God.
Exactly.
I
accidentally, I thought it was flour.
Sniff this
I thought
bump
it was,
off some...
last thing that he talked about, Flying Pig Brewing in Caldwell, Ohio. He's wondering if there's going to be some intellectual property, trademark, logo issues with Swine City because they both have flying pigs. Both logos are in a circle. And he goes, how can you not know? How can you not research this? But in my 3 minutes of Googling during this part of the episode... 3 minutes, yeah. Yes.
And you're
very
the queen
intense.
of screens, by the way. For everybody who doesn't know that.
When I looked up, because I'm like, it's called Flying Pig Brewing, so to me, let me pretend to be the brewery searching for their logo.
Wait, hold on. Let's try this again. Ooh. This is where, all right. And this is where Julia pretends to be Flying Pig Brewing.
Hello, I am Flying Pig Brewing, and I'm going to search to see if there are any flying pigs in beer logos in the state of Ohio. So I'm going to search not for winged pigs, not for swines, but specifically Flying Pig beer logo. And when I search for Flying Pig beer logo in the Google, nothing points to Swine City in Cincinnati.
Okay.
So I don't give them a lot of blame, but I also don't know how much actual effort they put into this, into like searching for anything around their area. And I mean, depending on how big or small of a brewery they are, like, does it really matter? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know enough about
here's the thing.
Some of that stuff.
You've got Swine City Brewing, and then there's Flying Pig Brewing.
Yes.
If I lived near, let's say, a creek, or as some people call it, a crick, if I lived near one and they had all of these beautiful rocks that were by the creek, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a brewery, and I'm going to call it Stone Brewing. If I look up Stone Brewing, I'm going to find out that there is a Stone Brewing.
Yes.
But if I call it like Glassy Rock Brewing,
right,
I would not know that there's Rolling Rock or necessarily Stone.
Exactly.
Like it's too literal of a search now.
Right, because I guaranteed they searched for Flying Pig beer.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right, sure. I don't think they were trying to do anything nefarious.
Oh, no, wait. Let's go the other way.
Oh, no, they
absolutely
yes,
nefarious.
Yes. They are trying to tear down Swine City.
Tear them down.
Over.
Limb from limb.
Yes.
Swinehawk from swinehawk.
Absolutely. Got this hand.
Grab them by the tail.
And squeal.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Did you have any other notes on the weekly pint before
No.
we get to just good God with this? All right.
No.
The sniff and sip count for this
All
episode.
right. Well, we were talking about sniffing a minute ago.
It's true. Absolutely. It all ties back together. 17 sniffs and 7 sips.
Okay.
That is 24 total countables, which means 48 ounces or 3 pints in this
Yeah, that's
just
3 pints.
over an hour episode.
Totally doable.
Good job. Yeah,
Totally
and,
doable.
and that's actually a somewhat high number for Gnome and everything that he does.
True.
Yeah.
True.
All right. Well, because it is Kolsch night, Marco, is there anything else that you?
Is it Kolsch night?
It is. It is
Okay.
Kolsch night. Yeah. So
Wow.
we need to pack our shit up
That
and
sneak up on us
hit
like
the
that.
road. I know.
They should.
I know.
But they should.
The third Tuesday of every month comes up faster and faster.
Oh
I
man,
feel
I
like.
tell you, sure does.
Yeah.
It's like tax day. Fuck.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. If you like what we've done, you know all the things you need to do, like subscribe, review, share, follow. Go to truthbeerpod.com where you can find links to absolutely everything, how to contact us, how to join our Patreon where you get unedited episodes of all of the chaos we put out.
And if you didn't like what we did, go back and listen to last week with Julia and Gnome. You might like that better without me. And
Debateful.
if you still don't like
Debateful.
that, wait till next week and then listen to next week.
Again, when the three of us.
When the three of
Yes,
us
yes.
back and see then after a third try what you think about it.
A huge shout out to our Michiganite and Franklinite friends. We
Yeah.
have Drasen at Seven Dragons. Absolutely fantastic Dungeons and Dragons content on YouTube and
Oh,
Twitch.
my favorite.
It also pushes out to a podcast so you can listen to the campaigns. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Josh from Half-Ass Beer Review. We have not had a new beer review video in like almost 2 weeks. I'm starting to get through withdrawal. I don't know what's happening. Maybe he's like busy with real life. No excuse. No excuse. We need our content, but it is absolutely fantastic. He has a very good take on the beer that he likes, but also very honest with when he tries stuff that he's not a huge fan of. Like, he gives it a fair shake. Like, it's just not my thing, but I can either tell it is still a good beer or I just don't think they did a good job on this, and he'll tell you like it is. And then Tone, who is one of the members of Banter and Babble, amazing nerdcore and hobbycraft and just life geekery, all kinds of good stuff out there. So check them out on all of the different platforms, mostly YouTube and Twitch. And yeah, I don't say support Michigan breweries, but if you see some Old Nation, that one's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
All right. With that being said, Marco, what are you going to be doing next Tuesday?
I already have plans to be here with you.
Sounds
and
great.
The Gnome.
Maybe no. All right.
Doing this.
We'll see you there.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.